allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's deliberations amongst the council. We would remind everyone to please silence your phones or turn them off out of respect for everyone else in the chambers. I'd also like to remind anyone wishing to address the council to please fill out a blue form that was at the entrance you walked in and get up to the council clerk. We'll be sure to recognize you. Additionally, I want to remind everyone that when we get to ordinances, that we will ask for public input on the ordinances before we discuss them on the council and bring it to a vote. On resolutions, there will be no discussion amongst the public. It will just simply be by the council before we bring that to a vote. With that said, we'll jump right into tonight's meeting. Item A, approval of minutes. Number one, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the March 26, 2024 regular session. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Perk. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item B, stating our federal legislative updates. Do we have any legislators in the audience willing to looking to make a statement? None. Brings us to item C. We have none. Item D, proclamation. Number 2, Parish President Archie Chesson will present a proclamation proclaiming April 1st through 5th, 2024 as National Community Development Week. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Chairman, the Community Development Block Grant Program, does it work?
How about that? There we go. I should have been here at the last meeting, I guess, forgot how to work it. Whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has operated since 1974 to provide local governments with resources required to primarily meet the needs of low to moderate income persons. And whereas Community Development Block Grant Program is among the few remaining federal programs available to address the needs of low to moderate income persons in small cities. And whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has provided the state of Louisiana with important flexible assistance to meet the needs of low to moderate income residents of small cities by funding sewer, water, and street improvement projects, economic development projects, and other public improvement projects. And whereas Congress and the nation acknowledge the critical value of the Community Development Block Grant Program and the significant projects that rely on its funds for support. And whereas the week of April 1st through the 5th, 2024 has been reserved for recognition and appreciation of the Community Development Block Grant Program. Now therefore, I, Archie Chesson, Parish President of Lafourche, do hereby proclaim April 1st to the 5th, 2024 as National Community Development Week. And I don't think we have anybody here, do we? Once, twice? All right, that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 3, Parish President Archie Chesson to present a proclamation proclaiming the month of April 2024 as Fair Housing Month. Mr. President, once again, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, now.
Now we good to go.
I think every time that you press and you go, I'm pressing for you to go live and you pressing to turn it off.
Man, okay. We'll figure it out before the end of the night. Whereas the Louisiana Housing Act, Louisiana Revised Statute 51:2601 prohibits discrimination on housing because of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, or handicap. And whereas Lafourche Parish government has dedicated itself to bettering efforts to realize fair housing for its citizens of Lafourche Parish government. And whereas the Lafourche Parish government desires to increase the public's awareness regarding fair housing in the Louisiana Open Housing Act. Now therefore, Archie Chesson proclaim the month of April 2024 as Fair Housing Month. I don't think anybody's here for this one either. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Item 4, Parish President Archie Chesson will present a proclamation proclaiming the month of April 2024 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
All right. Whereas surviving a crime can have a myriad of lasting effects on victims, including physical, psychological, social, and financial issues. And whereas we know that countless survivors never tell anyone what happens to them. And whereas crime victims' rights acts are passed here in Louisiana and at the federal level to guarantee victims the right to meaningful participate in the criminal justice process. And whereas each of us has a moral responsibility to actively participate in healing each other. And whereas the victim services providers, advocates, law enforcement officers, attorneys, and other allied professionals are capable of providing victim-centered, trauma-informed, and culturally responsive support. And whereas we must listen to the survivors and be willing to create new options for support of all victims of crimes to help receive help and seek justice. Whereas we must do everything we can to show survivors hope that the belief of the future will be better is not just tangible, but within their reach. And whereas the National Crime Victims' Rights Week encourages all people to ask themselves the question, how would you help a victim of a crime? Whereas Lafourche Parish is hereby dedicated to raising awareness of options, services, and helping crime survivors obtain justice by enforcing victims' rights. Now, therefore, I, Archie Chesson, Parish President Lafourche, do hereby proclaim the week of April 21st through the 27th, 2024 as Crime Victims' Rights Week, and hereby affirm the commitment of Lafourche Parish to victim services and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime during Crime Victims' Rights Week. And we got Heidi and some other members from the DA's office here to accept this one.
Not today. Not today. Maybe Mr. Kibu would want to play.
Good afternoon.
Howdy.
Hi. Do I have to say my name? I know how to do that
If you
last
don't mind, it'd be great, just for the record.
Sure. It's Heidi Irwin. It's 103 Malone Street, Thibodeau, Suite A. On behalf of District Attorney Russell and our entire department, I'd like to thank you all for recognizing what we do. We take great pride in what we do. We would not be able to do our jobs if it wouldn't be for the District Attorney, our Assistant District Attorney, and our investigators and our administration. So I also want to say huge thanks to them as well. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Okay, brings us to item 5. Parish President Archie Chesson to present a proclamation proclaiming April 21st through 27th, 2024 as National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And whereas children of our nation are the most vulnerable members as well as our nation's most valuable resources helping to shape the future of Louisiana and Lafourche Parish. Whereas positive childhood experiences like loving caregivers and safe and stable and nurturing relationships can help mitigate trauma of adverse children experience, emotional and developmental well-being of our children can have a long-term psychological impact throughout the individual's lifetime and the impact future generations of their family. Whereas the prevention is possible because of the partnerships created between families, prevention advocates, child welfare professions, education, health, community, business, and law enforcement agencies, as well as state, local, and national governments. Whereas we acknowledge that in order to help solve the public health issue of abuse and neglect, we must work together to change the hearts and mindsets, center the needs of families, break down the bias and barriers, and inspire action of expected and unexpected partners in prevention. Whereas committed to advancing equitable, responsible, and effective systems that ensure all children and families are healthy and thriving. We recognize that we must need and prioritize kids and invest more in prevention initiatives like family strengthening policies, economic supports, and community-based child abuse prevention programs at the national, state, and local levels. Now, therefore, I, Archie Chesson, Parish President Lafourche, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. I think Heidi's going to come do this one again.
She'll have to say it. I know she doesn't like it. No, mine's not on. Mr. Nunes is on. See how it's red?
Oh, you ready for next?
Yeah.
Okay, item E, certificate of recognition. Number 6, Parish President Archie Chesson will present a certificate of recognition to the 2023-2024 Single A Biddy National Champions from the Central Lafourche Youth Basketball All-Star Team. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know a lot of you have wondered why our kids wandered in tonight, and it wasn't because this is going to be a fun educational meeting. I'm very proud. I don't know where she went, but one of my kids was down here a second ago and plays biddy basketball. She's hiding back by Mitch and Savanier. But this is the second year in a row these youngsters have won the national championship. And when you travel around, and I think a lot of you have with your children, you go to these other gyms and you see the big banners hanging everywhere, right? Well, if you walk in this Lockport Community Center, you're going to see 2 of ours hanging on the wall now. So we thought it was an awesome night to be able to recognize all these kids and their coaches. We have several kids that we're on the national championship team, but also had some individual honors, so we're going to do these as well. But guys, if you just, as I call your name, if you want to come up and grab your certificates, and we'll do a picture with everybody after. All right. Elijah Roddy, number 1. Yes, sir. Mr. Jack Sernier. I'm going to butcher the name. He's a chef, so you think I don't know how to pronounce it, but Gavari? Gavari? Gavery. There we go. Thank you. Woo! All right. That's why I'm not a school teacher. Mr. Leland Luquette. Mr. Jackson Parfait. Mr. Jediah Neves. Judah. I'm trying. It's more fun when we mess it up. Mr. Tate Eshte. Mr. Nicholas Caramonte. All right, so these are going to be the champion players plus the All-Americans that they had on the team. Mr. Jack Sheremy. See, I'm going to mess this one up too. Juez? Juez Ingram. Mr. Braxton Arnold. And Mr. Wyatt Gotro. The baller of the Claudia subdivision right there, boy. All right, and then finally the men behind the madness, the guys who actually work with these kids every day and hopefully going to make them the future leaders of our community. Head coach, Mr. Michael Serenier. And we got our assistant coach, Mr. Stephen Sheremy. And our other assistant coach, Mr. Antonio Nibez. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You want to do a group picture with them, Archie?
Yeah, if you want to keep rolling, we'll go outside and do it.
Perfect.
I want to be in the picture with us, you know.
That's good. Although the next presentation is for you, but if you want to go do that.
I had to fix my hair.
Let's knock it out.
All right. Congratulations, way to represent the bayou. Item F, presentations and or updates. Number 7, Parish President to recognize the Lafourche Parish Government Employee of the Month and or WOW Employee for the Month of March 2024. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our Employee of the Month this month always greets everyone she sees with a smile, and her dedicated work ethic and precision to detail is admirable. She's a team player and always there. They're willing to help others around her, and she's an absolute pleasure to work with and very deserving of this honor. And our Employee of the Month this month is from our Finance Department, Ms. Brianna Celestine.
right, congratulations and thank you for the service to our citizens. Okay, item G, legal advisory report, we have none. Item H, engineers and/or architect reports.
Right. Right.
Good evening, John Plaisance with GIS Engineering. It's a pleasure to be in front of you all tonight. Welcome, Mr. Rodrigue. Project updates. I'm just having the one right there. This is going to mess me up. We've got several projects to talk about tonight. I have it.
Okay.
There we go.
You got it.
Okay, the Butch Hill Pump Station, we are just about finished with that. We've just got some minor electrical and mechanical details to work out. The permits have been issued, so hopefully by the end of the month, we'll be able to get together with Dylan and be ready to advertise sometime next month. Valentine Pontoon Bridge, I am not as excited about, well, I'm actually just as excited about that. I'm not as optimistic about it, but we are getting there. The 95% design is going through. We have gotten comments from the Federal Highway Administration. We're reviewing those, but again, the stick in the mud is going to be the RAISE grant people. We're still coordinating with them. We think it'll be before the end of the year before we actually get something from them. I know President Chasson is looking at abandoning that money, but it's kind of hard to pass up that much.
Got a meeting next week, John.
Correct. See? Okay, the Grand Bayou Freshwater reintroduction, we are making progress on that one. We got some information from DOTD regarding the Highway 24 bridge. We're incorporating that into our scour analysis. And Dylan was able to provide us some comments on the preliminary design, so we're on the review with that. So we should be able to get, by next month, we should be able to have some additional information for y'all. The waste collection facility, again, that one we've been working along with Dylan on that one. We have kind of narrowed it down to 2 proposals that we are putting together some information on. So hopefully in the next month or 2, we'll be able to select one path and move forward on that. The Hurricane Ida pump station rehabs is kind of still in FEMA's hands. We're reviewing the information we provide them. They ask every couple of months for additional information provided, but they are pretty slow. The Eunice Alamo pump station, again, that one we submitted, well, we submitted a preliminary set, Dylan made some comments, we addressed those comments and gave them back to him in February, so when Dylan gets a chance, we'll be able to hash out that, and hopefully during the summer we'll be out for a bid on that one. Midway drainage study and report, I actually did not update this one. The field surveying is complete, so we're incorporating that information into our hydroelectric and hydraulic modeling, so that will be probably into May before we have some information for Dylan to review on that one. And the Lockport Elevated Boardwalk, that's kind of stuck in the core permitting process. We are trudging through it with ELOS, and we'll get that, I don't know exactly when, but hopefully it'll be done before we find some money to build it, probably. And that's it.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Mr. President? Nope, yep.
There we go. So I just, and I know Mr. John mentioned it, so we are going to meet next week with the GIS team, FHWA, DOTD about the Valentine project. We thought we were doing a good thing by going and getting the RAISE grant, right? $2.5 million. They have put so many requirements on us because of the federal guidelines and all this fun stuff. It's ballooned the project to something that we don't know is achievable anymore. So what we've asked for is for them to either give us more money to pay for all the requirements they put on us, or take your money back and we're going to go build it with our local dollars like we had planned in the first place, and get us a bridge that you can survive with, for fire department crossings that our residents can start to use. So we're going to deal with that next week, but we are going to try to move forward with the project by the end of the year.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know they finished removing everything on the east bank. They were moving the crane yesterday, today to the west bank. And I know they've started working for the divers, for whatever else is left there, but very good. Thank you, much appreciated.
One other thing, the Ludovine Pump Station, which is another Lafourche Levy District project, we took bids last month. The district did award that project, so we're moving forward with that. So hopefully this time next year, we'll have a new pump station there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Do we have any other engineers and architect reports? Nope.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I am Lance Barber, project manager representing Delos. We are doing project management for all of the disaster refurbishment projects going on across the parish right now. I just prepared this to give you all, the members of the council and the general public, an idea of what's going on lately across the parish. Oh, there we go. So currently, projects we have going on under construction are the Rose Recreation Park. They have construction and lighting going on. Same thing at Golden Meadow Recreation. The new Raceland Ag Rodeo Arena, the detention center demolition, and the old jail. Also the rebuilding of the animal shelter office, the Leeville boat launch, which has been completed already. Kramer Recreation Park, Thibodeau, the district attorney block building, Thibodeau Historical Courthouse for the roofing. There is also an interior project coming along eventually. The Galliano Health Unit, Thibodeau Government Building, roofing specifically. Bayou Blue Recreation Park and Choctaw Recreation Park. As you notice, most of these are recreation parks. Those were the #1 priority across the parish. So for the Rose Rec Park, the contractors mobilized on site mid-February and since begun the demolition of damaged facilities. The new fencing installation is currently ongoing. And here are a few photos. I know it's kind of hard to see from that far away. As you can see, the contractor has begun the demolition of the fencing, and they have new fencing materials brought in. As for the lighting, the pole foundations that were formed have been complete. They've started standing up the poles and installing all of the new electrical components. Those are expected to be done within the next 2 to 3 weeks. For Golden Meadow Rec, they've begun the demolition of concrete slabs for the concession stand, and the damaged fencing has been removed. New fence posts are being set in concrete as we speak, and the test piles for the new concession stand have been driven, and the tests are currently ongoing. For the Golden Meadow Park recreation lighting, same thing as La Rose, everything has been done. They actually finished Golden Meadow before they moved to La Rose, so all the components there, they just have to be hooked to the electrical service and everything will be good to go. Next up, we have the Raceland Rodeo Arena. So the removal of the asphalt base where the new arena is going to be has been complete. The water and electric service disconnect has also been completed. The pile driving for the load test is done as well, and the footings for the concrete work for the new foundations for the barn are poured. The detention center, that one is a pretty simple project. All they're doing is demoing the facility. So the contractor over the last month has been demolishing the facility as per the contract. For the animal shelter office, the building foundation slab has been completely poured. In the last 2 weeks, they have begun to stand up the metal foundations for the doors and windows before they can begin block work. They're currently also working on the foundations for an ADA compliant ramp to get into the front of the building. The Lever boat launch, as I mentioned earlier, is substantially complete. The electrical has been connected and it just hasn't been turned on yet, but everything is ready to go. For the Kramer Recreation Park, all of the replacement fencing has been installed. The Connex restroom has not started yet, but they have begun to mobilize on site to start the foundations for the concrete, for the lighting and the metal poles. For the Thibodeau DA block building, they've completed replacing all the broken roof tiles that were reported that caused a few leaks there. They have been working on the dormers over the past month. Those are substantially complete as well. They're currently installing new HVAC components on the roof. There's also a little bit of interior work going on. For the Thibodeau Historical Courthouse, the work has commenced to replace the topmost copper panels. All those have to be hand formed and fitted. It's a really huge job because it has to go back exactly as it was per the historical compliance regulations. So as you can see in the photos here, it's looking really good on the topmost portion right now. This again is going to be a slow-moving project because they're literally hand-fitting each one of those copper panels and soldering them together to make them weather-resistant. And the Galliano Health Unit, the contractor just completed the pile driving process before they can start the slab work. They've also mobilized and put up temporary fencing. They also have the services for electricity and water disconnected from the old facility in preparation for the building of the new facility. And last but, I'm not sure if this is last, I'm sorry. The Thibodeau Government Complex roofing only. The copper roof panels around the exterior have been completed, and we are currently waiting for a chiller delivery to work on the upper portion of the roof. As you can see here, the copper has all been installed. And the Bayou Blue Recreation Park, the replacement fencing has been complete. The work on the gym and the other facilities on site has begun in the last week. Oh, sorry. And for the Choctaw Rec Park, the demolition on the fencing has begun. That's really about all that's gone on over there in the last week. The same contractor is working on Choctaw and Kramer, so they're going on simultaneously. So they're focusing mainly on Kramer right now, and then Choctaw just has the fencing. A few upcoming projects that you guys of the council have already approved, Heroes Rec Park, Raceland Recreation Park, and the LA Cajun Bayou Visitor Center. Thank you.
Very good. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Adams?
Yeah.
Hey, can you go back to that Choctaw picture, please?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Oh, there you go.
So yeah, that's the tennis court area. We see that other area, I want to know, so all the dugouts and stuff got ripped out during the hurricane. I was told that's not getting replaced. Why?
Let me find out some more.
Because that got destroyed too, so I'm just trying to figure out, there's no more tops of the dugouts or anything. And I know the lights need to be done, so that's coming, but yeah, I was just worried about that other one.
The lighting is part of the project, it's just, it hasn't been done.
I'm just worried about that other fence, because again, we're getting ready to start using those parks, so. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Any other engineers and architects? All right. Brings us to item I, public wishing to address the council public hearings, agenda items, et cetera. Ms. Colleen.
Mr. Preston Roddy, if you come to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, and please remember you have 3 minutes.
You the one that's talking.
Yes.
Okay, I've identified.
Okay, good.
My name is Preston Rowley. I reside at 321 Park Drive. I've been living there since 2001. I purchased the property in May, and Hurricane Allison hit us in June. I was in the house for 30 days, and I had about 1.5 inches of water in my kitchen and throughout the carpet areas in the house. I was never more disappointed coming home after serving 26 years in the Army. You can thank me for my service. I want to bring up an old conversation I had with Buzz Brew. For you younger councilmen who may not know Buzz Brew, that was 25 years ago. And I gave him my problem, and he promised me that he would help me. Today, we got the roof of the courthouse looking like the Vatican. We have the voting registration building made of copper on the roof. We got Choctaw, tennis courts and baseball fields. Not to mention all the wonderful work that's being done with levee protection. We're really doing a good job with that. Anybody that thinks drainage and flooding is not the top priority in this it's been 25 years. When are we going to get a ditch? Oh, if I can have Mr. Barone's attention.
You're speaking to the chair right here, sir.
Oh, only me to you.
Yes, sir. And then if we need to address it, we will. Yes, sir. We'll keep the decorum in the room.
Yes, by all means. I had a conversation with Mr. Barone. We shared a little information. Me and my district councilman, District 3, he at least appeared. And we walked the area, and I think he has a pretty clear idea what the problem is. So I depend on him and you, as a councilman, to share information, to set examples for others to follow behind you. Those that take your place are going to be just as important as you guys are. But I don't want to have to wait another 25 years. So let the buck stop here. Let's assume we have responsible people leading our government and that can answer.
Someone relinquish some time. Mr. Adams relinquishes a few more minutes, sir.
I'm sorry, say again?
And Mr. Adams relinquishes some more time. You have a few more minutes to speak, sir.
Well, he broke my rhythm, and that's okay. That's okay, because what I said should be enough. And good luck to y'all, because there's more coming at you. 3 of my neighbors couldn't make it tonight. And Monica is madder than a hornet. Now, she's in Sicily right now, but she'll have an opportunity to speak. Thank y'all very much. And
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry if I offended anybody in the...
Much appreciated, sir.
Mr. Larry Benoit, If you come to the podium, sir, state your name and address for the record. Please remember, you have 3 minutes, Mr. Larry.
My name is Larry Benoit. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all tonight. What I want to talk about is basically the same as what Mr. Roddy was talking about, just a slightly different area, and I was not aware of his problem until I got here tonight. But my problem is the area of West Community Drive, a little bit of Renee, and a little bit of Lee Drive. I've been living on West Camellia for about 20 years now, and ever since I moved there, well, let's say this, I bought a lot, I bought a house, and I moved it there, so I was able to elevate it right from the start, because I knew of the 2001 problem. My dad's house flooded for that one. But, excuse me, I was able to raise my house, which now I think is substantially high enough that it wouldn't be bothered by a flood. But I still got cars. And there's a whole lot of houses down the street from me. I live about halfway down the second block of West Camellia. It's a 2-block subdivision. This past January, when we had the high water and all the rain, we had a couple of cars that flooded. We had some more that were stranded. We had several people that were stranded and had nowhere to go. Now, I'd like to talk about this development they have on Pine Ridge, which is right next to West Camellia. About 10 years ago, we had a meeting with the commission, or somebody, and some councilmen about developing that area, and quite a few people showed up, and the owner of the property showed up and said that that was kind of a natural, what do you call that, like a retention pond. It was kind of a natural retention pond. But the development of Pine Ridge and the new development that they want to do now, which they canceled the meeting last week for it, and I wanted to go. But we talked and talked and talked, and of course it didn't do any good. The development went on, and soon after the water problem started more at the end of West Camellia. Now they're looking to do some more. We also have a new development on Talbot Street. That part, and I'll invite you to go ride down Talbot from the St. John Fire Station to 3185 and see how high they raised that property. It is considerably higher than Talbot Street. Talbot Street is considerably higher, well, it's higher than all the areas south of Talbot going all the way to 3185. That's on the opposite side of West Camellia. Then we got another development going on Parish Road. I've seen some street flooding there already. And the problem we got is that West Camellia is becoming a bowl, excuse me.
All right.
We out. Okay.
You good? No. Mr. Brumfield allocated you some more time to continue speaking, sir.
Okay, thank you. West Camellia, now you know that water seeks its own level. The back end of West Camellia has been flooding for some time. This past January, when I went to get into my driveway, I barely made it, and I'm halfway up the street. And it's continuing to rise. So more people are getting stranded, more cars are getting stranded and flooded. What it looks like in my area is that it needs some type of improvement on the pumping. I listened to that main pump last week, and it looks like it's on its last leg. There's a portable pump, and I don't think it gets turned on timely enough to pump the water out before we get high water. So we're having a serious problem with that, and I'm just hoping that we can bring that back to your attention to see if we can't get that taken care of. A lot of people are suffering back there. I'm all right so far, but thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. You have a question? Okay, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Melvin has a question for you, sir.
I just wanted to know real quick, it's not my area, but we all go through some water problems in everybody's area every now and then. is it a certain, I know heavy rain swamps everybody, but do you have a number of how much rain it takes to start giving y'all some problems before it, gets crazy?
Well, again, I live halfway up the street. If we get a considerable amount of rain, I never noticed it because I don't live down there. But they do have water. And it seems like each year, and it may coincide with more development, the water comes a little further and further toward my house.
Yes, sir.
Now, all of this water is coming basically from Bayou Lafourche. Now, it's not coming from the bayou, but it's coming from the area. And it either comes straight south or on the east and west of us, it's all coming down.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to see if you had a rain gauge or if you had a number of when it starts to get kind of...
I had about 3 or 4 inches, and at least. I got a Chevy Traverse, and it barely made it, so maybe about that much, halfway up the street. So the back was a lot worse because the street goes down.
Okay.
Mr. Melvin?
Mr. Broomfield, that's okay. You get
Mr. Larry, thank you for coming tonight.
All right.
First, I want to let the council know that I did have the opportunity to get in the car. Well, I put him in my car. We took a ride and looked at the situation. And then I did run into, we met some other people who live toward the back where Mr. Larry does live. It's at West Camellia. I think they complained that one of the problems were that it was around the time when it rained a lot. And one of the problems was the lady said that the Public Works Department, the people did not come out, it was already flooded by the time they came out to put the pumps on. But, it was a lot of rain. We do understand that, but the pump, something can be done. Something can be done. And we just need to work on getting them some type of better, with the Public Works Department, we need to do something a little bit more better with the pumps. Yeah.
Upgrading the levees wouldn't hurt either.
Yeah, and the levees, yeah. The levees were a problem too. What Mr. Larry was talking about is Talbot, the area around the DSLD areas that are coming up are a bit high. So it's leaving them in a spoon. It's almost like a spoon. They're living in a spoon. Also the sewage. It's a lot with the sewage as well. The sewage was backing up, and one of the residents had a tremendous amount of sewage in the yard.
I had it on the list, but they cut me off. Excuse me.
Good, sir.
But thank you, Mr. Larry, for
When
coming.
it comes over the levee, it gets into the pump for the wastewater system,
Right.
and it spits it back out as
Right.
sewage.
Yeah, I did receive pictures.
The two trailers right next to there have a bunch of young kids, and they want to go play in the water.
Right. Sewage everywhere.
Yeah, not a...
Like playing in a toilet.
The sewage system, that's not our responsibility in a way, but if we keep the water out of it, maybe it'll help too.
Right, and then it's full of trash.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Brumfield. Does anyone from the administration wish to make any comments? Okay, very good. Yes, our DPW director will get with you outside, sir. Very good.
Ms. Carolyn Smith, if you come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Yes, I have some pictures I want to share. Can I share this?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. You can just bring them up.
Debris.
Okay. Yes, my name is Carolyn Smith. I live at 237 Buford Street, Raceland, Louisiana. Some people call me Lady Moses. Other people call me Governor. When I come out, I want solution, I want to fix, and I want to take action. So I heard talking about the gold, the copper top on the courthouse. Well, I have something better. If you look at those pictures, my problem is worse than the gold, the copper top that you putting on a courthouse. That's not the solution to put on the courthouse. I don't believe the courthouse even had copper on top of that house. If it was, it didn't need to be fixed. This solution that we need to fix now is an outer solution. Did you see the trash and the debris that's on that St. Patrick?
Sure did.
Okay, now let me explain something to you. Mr. Arthur Coleman on Patrick Street, he came out about last month, and I heard him ask if you can take care of that debris on that property. It's right in front of my house. I have a special needs son, severe. And American Disability said it has to be done. I came here to ask to get that done, please. But first I want to say, I got a few more issues I want to say. This is an environmental justice issue, a civil rights action, because Mr. Arthur came out here and asked you in a timely manner to get it done, and it has not been done. I know you got funding allocated from IDA, because you just said it from the engineer that you're paying IDA fund is coming out building park system and park recreation system. So this area that we live in is our community. Io Street, Greenville Street, St. Louis Street, and the other community in there. One other thing I want to say, if I might if you can extend my time, I know I'm almost run out. Okay. The levee, I heard they talking about the levee. In the back of my house is, I think it's by your house. You should see the nice work they doing back there. You can drive on this side of 652, but when you come on the other side of 652 in Greenville, it's like a war zone. So we just come here to ask you, how soon can you get that done? Because that's a health issue. Like I said, I saw one night at 11:30, the mosquito man came and sprayed. He sprayed directly at that pile of debris. And I'm looking right at him. I'm taking care of my son, looking directly at him, spraying it. That's my son has asthma, and he stayed there about 30 minutes spraying one spot. So we need this taken care of as soon as possible, and that's all we want it done. I'm telling you, it's an Environmental Justice Act, and that's a Civil Rights Act. Title 6, you can look it up, Title 6. That means it's not being done in the black area in a timely fashion. And I think Mr. Osgood came here and asked many times to get it done. Now, I'm coming to ask to get it done. And I want it done, please.
Yes, I can tell you that exists throughout the parish. It's not just picking on you, but does anybody know the specific area she's talking about and why government needs to intervene? I'm assuming that this is private property that somebody didn't clean up. Does anybody know? No. Does anybody have Mr. DPW Director? I'm sorry, Terry was in front of you. Terry?
I'm your councilman, I represent that area.
Okay, thank you.
And the problem you're talking about, and Mr. Coleman came here, like you said, and addressed us.
That's right.
And we had the guys go look at that pile. That pile was a trailer house or something. The property owner demolished and pushed to the road.
Private property, that's what it was.
It's private property. He pushed it to the road. Now, we talked to Mr. Coleman last meeting, and he said he was going to try to get with his son to see about getting it cleaned up. We can't force our trash collector to pick up that pile. That's out of the range of that contract. Now, let me finish. The other piles that you talked about, and Mr. Coleman mentioned, the trash truck went out there and picked a few of the piles up, and they have piles every day accumulate. So they're out there picking them up. Now, I agree with you. They're not picking them up as fast as you want them picked up. They're not picking them up as fast as I want them picked up. But they're all working on it. So, and he also complained about some drainage issues over there. He came over the last meeting to compliment us about the guys that went out there and cleaned out some of the ditches and picked up some of the trash that people threw in our ditch. They went out there and he complimented and wanted to thank us for a job well done. Mr. Coleman came here last meeting. So we are definitely working on it. Now, that trash that you're talking about, I can get back with the administration and see if there's anything that we possibly can do, but I don't think there's anything we can do about it as parish government, other than to force the man to pick it up, or we pay somebody to go pick it up and send in the bill.
Okay, let me say, you said it happened. This just didn't happen last week. This has been 2 years.
That's correct.
That's right. Now, it hasn't been done. I've been away for almost 2 years. My house got affected by it.
I know exactly where you live at.
And okay, that's good. And you know when I come in this not the courtroom, I'm not in the courtroom yet, But when I come here, I mean business. I don't play. You know, that's, my son's health is something, if I have to go to the Board of Health, I am going to the Board of Health. And we're going to see how fast we get it done then. So, everybody here, we elect you and we put our faith in you. So this is the kind of service we get in return by electing somebody that promised we're going to do this, and then we turn our back and they say, I don't know who that was, I don't know who that is. But right now, Mr. Abbott, I hear what you're saying, but the debris that's in that main yard was not that big. They keep piling trash on top of trash, and then you want them to go get a dumpster? I had allocated all this stuff in the budget to put dumpster to get it out, and yet he's living on a trailer, a FEMA trailer. Now you can't tell me that's not out of debris that you can pick up. And we only ask you to get it done as soon as possible.
You sure that wasn't there before Ida?
No, sir, I've been there, I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. That man kept his house up just like I keep mine up. He kept his house up. Debris, they got tires in front of them, mosquitoes, the cats.
Oh, I agree with you. I see it. I pass there every other week.
The snakes, I haven't seen a snake, all them snakes coming in my yard. My grass get cut every 2 weeks, and sometime before that. Let's get it done. That's all I ask you, let's get this done. Let's get it taken care of. It's our problem. Just like the recreation park, we need that done too. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, you got some else?
Mr. Devin Dadon, you've come to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Devin Dedon, 131 Alcide Street, Golden Meadow, Fire Chief for Fire District 3. We just want to come up here and talk to you guys and remind people that the early voting starts April 13th and runs through April 20th. This is a millage that we need to pass for the fire district to maintain the current service that we provide. It passes, we keep all of our employees, and we keep maintaining the coverage we provide. It fails, we lay off employees. And if the volunteers are off of work, we have great volunteers. We have 69 of them that are active. If they're off of work and they can respond, then they'll do so. If they're working, then you'll have to wait till we can call mutual aid or get someone else to come. The service we provide is hazmat, confined space rescue, high angle rescue, aircraft rescue, firefighting, water rescue. It goes on and on. It takes highly skilled, trained people to do this job, so you can't just, we have plenty of people that want to volunteer, we sign them up, they can't go through the training, they don't want to finish it out, so we put them pumping the truck, handing water. There's use for everybody. We can hook up the hydrant. We need actual firefighters to go in and fight the fire. April 27th, the election day.
Very good. Anyone have any comments? Certainly we're wishing y'all the best of luck, and hopefully everyone considers supporting y'all. Mr. Lorraine.
Yes, before Ida hit, what was your revenue?
So we lost about $3 million.
And you're not the only one.
No,
Everybody in the parish lost that. I could see it now.
Correct.
I knew it was coming, but it's coming to a lot of organizations and groups in this parish. And I just hope that, the people's going to make the choice. If you're for it, you vote yes. If you're not for it, you vote no. It's that simple. But it's something that's really needed in my book because it's a catch-22. I think y'all got a good department. I think you have it pretty much covered, the whole area from Fouchon, a little bit above LaRue, all the way to Fouchon. And if the people want to continue having that, I think it would be wise to maybe vote for it. But on the other hand, if it doesn't pass, your fire ratings are probably about a 5, right?
It is a 5, correct.
So if that fire rating goes to 8 or a 9 or possibly a 10, you're going to pay on the insurance side. So it's very well possible it might cost you less to pay the little millage than to pay the insurance costs.
Correct.
That's just my thinking.
We're thinking...
some people listen to them and some don't, so I'm just giving you the way I see it. And you want to win your election, make sure you get the early votes out. That's where it's wanted. You got a week to do it, and election day you have 1 day. So good luck, and let's see what happens.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief. Much appreciated.
Have a
Good luck.
That was my last one, Mr. Chairman.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ms. Colleen. All right, moving on to agenda, item J, public hearing notices for ratification. I now entertain a motion to open public hearing. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Melvin. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 8, ordinance amending ordinance number 1123, reducing the speed limit from 15 miles per hour to 10 miles per hour on West 155th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit and watch for children signs, and providing for penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on item 8? Second call, public input on item 8. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on item 8? Anyone from the council wants to discuss? Now we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 9, ordinance designating a no-wake zone from the intersection of the intercoastal. We pulling that one?
I was going to pull it, but I want to ask a question.
Okay, hold on. Let me give you, go ahead, Ms. Lorraine.
Yes, I think there was an existing ordinance there before with idle speed only, and I don't think that you could put idle speed, so is it going to be no wake zone?
It will. Yes.
So it is no wake zone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the
That's all I wanted to know, if it was going to be a no wake. It was Armin's district at one time, but then Delane got mad and she inherited that area. He gave it to her. But anyway, if it's going to be a no wake, that's fine, I'll just pull it.
Sure, we good, right, DP? Yes. Okay, so item number 9 has been pulled. Item 10, ordinance approving an act of donation between Parish of Lafourche and North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District for the Desalmas Pump Station, authorizing the parish president to sign and execute and administer said donation and all relevant documents. Mr. Arabi for administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Would anyone from the public like to comment on item number 10? Second call, public input on item 10. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 10? Anyone from the council wants to discuss? Mr. Lorraine, you have
I
the
just
floor,
want to
sir.
say that there are 2 levy districts in Lafourche Parish, South Lafourche Levy District and North Lafourche Levy District. And I'm going to support this, but what's happening here, you got active donation on quite a few pumps, and I'm assuming once this is done, that the parish is going to pick up the maintenance on all this. So we get no maintenance at all in South Lafourche. None whatsoever. We get fuel paid for, but everybody else gets fuel paid for, so that's a moot issue. So we need to come up with some kind of formula or something to give some kind of maintenance to run that. Because they pick up taxes that the people offered to pay, and the more that they got to deal with the maintenance of the engines, we got 3 big pump stations, one on the west side, one on the east side. The more that they got to spend money on maintenance, the less dirt they put on the levee. So if we're going to start taking active donations and paying everything for North Lafourche, I think we need to look into something to work out with South Lafourche. That's just me. And I think it would only be fair, because there's no maintenance being paid there. You go and check the maintenance of what them guys pay a year, you're going to be surprised. Because they keep up, you can go and eat on the floor of them pump stations. They keep that stuff up. There ain't no playing around there. Good employees. Not saying that the parish don't have the good ones, but I'm just looking at the parish taking over this, and then we have to pay the bill. And the levy district picks up quite a few money, a good bit of money on North Lafourche also. Of course, they're from the intercoastal north to the end of the line, and we're from the Dresser Canal on the west side, south, and the intercoastal canal on the east side, south. So I'm just asking that we need to look into trying to come up with some kind of maintenance funds for South Lafourche. Now let me tell you about
We had 5 pumps.
Yeah, so we're still, right now, we're specifically talking about the active denomination. This is the Desalmans pump station.
Okay,
So
that's
no,
fine.
Lafourche and Desalmans.
I'll catch it later.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Chesson.
There we go. Thank you, Professor Lorraine, for the history lesson again tonight. So all of the active donations you see, except for number 13, were all existing pump stations. In all of these particular cases, the levy district secured funding from some other place, mostly CPRA dollars, and they rebuilt or added an engine or added a pump or something like that. I would say, Mr. Lorraine, have the levy district call and do an active donation, and we'll take all of their stuff. But as you know, the levy district decided before I was born to run their own system. We have historically run the system in North Lafourche because it has grown. It's not the same dynamic as South Lafourche. They began a whole lot more years. North Lafourche only really got started in 2015 when the tax finally passed. So it's a different scenario. So I get what you're saying. I've talked to the South Lafourche Levy District president about it and how we can contribute more than fuel. They've recently asked that we kind of help with their pumper pay. So we're trying to work through those issues. And my commitment to them was once the tax reform stuff was over, which it is, that we would sit down and have a much more in-depth conversation. So those things are happening. I don't want you to think that they did something and we're all of a sudden assuming all these obligations. All of them were existing pump stations except for the Ramona pump, which is in Councilman Melvin's district, I believe, on the bypass, St. Charles bypass, not you?
On North Lafourche,
Yeah.
not our pump, yeah.
That was a brand new pump to help that community. So that's the only new maintenance obligation we're gonna have. The rest of them is just upgrades or an extra engine or a new engine or a new pump to an existing pump station, so.
But just remember one thing.
Hold on.
When South Lafourche levy was created, they used to be with Margaret City. Then they created their own. And then North Lafourche copycatted on South Lafourche. They got out of the basin and they created their own, just like South Lafourche. Same thing. Same state statute, same exact thing. So it shouldn't be any different. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 11, ordinance approving an active donation between the Parish of Lafourche and North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District for the Paul Pump Station and associated equipment, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said donation and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move formally on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Rodrigue. Any discussion from the public on item number 11? Second call, public input on item 11. Last and final call for any public input on the ordinance at number 11. Anyone from the council wishes to discuss? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 12, ordinance approving an active donation between the Parish of Lafourche and North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District for the Edna Consolidated Pump Station and Canal Debris Screen, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said donation and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will once again move from on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 12? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 12. Last and final call for public input on number 12. Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 13, ordinance approving an active donation between the Parish of Lafourche and North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District for the Ramona Pump Station, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said donation and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public, like to comment on the ordinance at 13? Second call for public input on the ordinance at number 13. Last and final call. Anyone from the public has to comment at 13. There be none. Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 14, ordinance amending ordinance number 6464 that accepted the subdivision known as Pine Ridge Estates Phase D into the parish system. Mr. Brumfield for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 14? Second call, public input at 14. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 14? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 15, ordinance approving and holding an election in Recreation District Number 2 of the Parish of Lafourche, St. Louisiana on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, to authorize a renewal of a special tax therein. Mr. Abbey for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Will anyone from the public like to comment on item number 15? Second call, item number 15. Last and final call for public input on number 15. Will anyone from the council? Mr. Araby.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just want to remind the voters of District 2 that this is a tax renewal. This is not a new tax. This is a tax renewal that the recreation uses to provide recreation for our area. So we ask that you please go out and support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abbey. Anyone else like to comment? Discuss? There being none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 16, ordinance providing for a 2024 supplemental appropriation 24-001 within the 2024 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget to correct carryover projects from the 2023 budget and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Melvin. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 16? Second call, public input at ordinance number 16. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment at 16? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. I now entertain a motion to close public hearing. So moved by Mr. Roderick, second by Mr. Perk. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item K, proposed ordinances. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number 17, proposed ordinance providing for a 2024 supplemental appropriation 24-002 within the 2024 operations and maintenance budget, correcting wages and benefits and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter, moved by Mr. Adams for the administration. Number 18, proposed ordinance providing for a 2024 supplemental appropriation 24-003 within the 2024 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget for the CDBG mitigation program grant for Bayou Vista drainage project, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions provided by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Would someone move for me, please? Okay, thank you. Mr. Burke, move on, Mr. Burke. Number 19, proposed ordinance amending and reenacting Chapter 22 of the Lafourche Parish Code of Ordinances as it pertains to land development and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Ms. Chasson for the administration. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Melvin. Much appreciated. Item L, resolutions. Number 20, resolution appointing one member to Lafourche Parish Civil Service Board representing the Louisiana State University Alumni Association. Mr. Melvin for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Melvin?
Yes. That's right here. I'm going to nominate Ms. Sarah Daigle.
Ms. Day, can I get a second? Second by Mr. Rodrigue. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 21, resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District and Parish of Lafourche to transfer ownership of the Paul Pump Station 48-inch pump, unit addition, drive engine, gear drive, and associated equipment to the Parish of Lafourche and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move from the behalf of administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 22, resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District and Parish of Lafourche to transfer ownership of the Edna Consolidated Pump Station 30-inch pump, unit addition, and canal debris screen to the Parish of Lafourche and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and the all relevant documents. Mr. Clerk will move on behalf of administration, second by Ms. Chasson. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 23, resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District and Parish of Lafourche to transfer ownership of the Desalmas Pump Station to the Parish of Lafourche and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Abbey for administration, second by Mr. Rodrigue. Any discussion? That being done, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 24, resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District and Parish of Lafourche to transfer ownership of the Ramona Pump Station to the Parish of Lafourche and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any other documents. Mr. Abbey for administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 25, resolution approving agreement between the Parish of Lafourche and Lafourche Org to provide funding for support and services for individuals with developmental disabilities and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any other documents. Moved by Mr. Perk for administration, second by Mr. Roderick. I do have someone that wants to speak on this and that signed up before the meeting. Mr. Rick Boudery. And Rick, if you don't mind, just state your name and address for the record, sir.
My legal name is Richard Boudery. My address is 108 Ashland Drive, Thibodeau, Louisiana. I have been the president of Lafourche Org for over 20 years. I've been a board member since 1988. My son Matthew was born in 1987 with Down syndrome. Shortly after that, I got a call from one of our past founding members, Dr. Jimmy Peltier, who told me he wanted me on the board, and that's been it ever since. We are a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, a non-governmental entity, and we have historically been funded by contracts with the state of Louisiana to provide the services that we provide for the individuals with developmental disabilities, all over the spectrum, from those who can't do anything for themselves to those who work in the community. We provide support for that. We have 6 community homes that serve 36 adults, 24/7 supervision. They're located in Lockport, Chack Bay, 4 in the Thibodeau area, Country Club, Jefferson Street, Richland, and Narrow. We have an apartment complex that we built a few years ago with assistance from the parish through a grant, a Hurricane Gustav grant, I believe it was, to provide low-income housing for individuals. That has 8 apartments, each with 2 individuals, and 1 for an elderly individual. We provide in-home supports for 81 persons with developmental disabilities in Lafourche Parish. We have vocational programs that support 121 folks 5 days a week here in the parish. We have different enterprises. We have in return to profit. Now look, we're a nonprofit. No member of our board receives a dime. In fact, we have several here tonight, Ms. Kathy Kleber, Mr. Ben Harang, Ms. Carmel Bro, and we have our executive director here, Ms. Wendy Estre. Several years ago, the state decided in its infinite wisdom that, first of all, they cut back the rates, the day rates that we were getting to serve these folks. And secondly, between the state and the federal government, put more requirements on us, which raised the cost of serving them, of course, without giving us any additional money. So for the last 10, 12 years, we've been operating at a deficit. It's a good thing. We had operated efficiently for the 30 years before that, or 40 years before that, and we're able to have some reserves. Several years ago, we started discussions with Mr. Chasson's predecessor and Mr. Chasson to see if there was some way we could get some assistance from the parish. And Archie has been, Mr. Chasson, President Chasson, has been good enough to work with us to try to find a source of some funds. You all may have questions where those funds would come from, but I would yield to the administration to fill in those details. But we have come to an agreement. I believe the proposed cooperative endeavor agreement is for $350,000. That would go a long way to reduce our deficit. We're presently at a loss for this fiscal year ending in June 2023. Just in our vocational programs, we lost some $400,000. Our residential programs lost some $135,000. At some point, if we don't get any help, we're going to run out of money. And I don't know what happens to those folks at that time. We not only serve folks from the intercoastal up through our community support program, we serve folks throughout the whole parish. Not just, we have the center in South Lafourche, which provides day habilitation for folks. But they don't provide a lot of the in-home support that we do. We work very well with the center. For those of you in South Lafourche who know the center, they're great people, they're a great organization. We work together with them. They have a tax base, we don't. So here we are. We didn't want to go to the parish, to the people, with another tax. I know how many mills we impose upon, the people have imposed upon ourselves already. We didn't want to have to go to the people and ask for more millage. So we've worked out this agreement with the administration to provide some funding, which to us is a stopgap, a great assistance. And I know one of the councilmen had a question of, do we get any other tax money? We have a hotel motel tax that Representative Warren Trish had passed 25, 30 years ago. It provides us about $250,000 a year. Other than that, we have no tax money, other than the indirect tax money that's paid with Medicaid dollars through our contracts with the state. So we're here to ask you for help. If anyone has any questions, if I can answer them, I will.
Press your button. All right, Ms. Lorraine.
As you stated a while ago that you said you don't want to go for a tax, and you don't hear that too often, because when everybody gets in a bind, they go for a tax. And as you stated, we have a facility down the bar. Maybe they don't use it as much or the way y'all use it, but it really helps out, and we collect a millage tax. Okay. And listen, anybody that would vote against this don't have their right mind, okay? I'm going to vote for it. But I also want to know if that money is coming out of the health unit or not, parish-wide.
Okay.
No, I'm not after you. I'm asking you.
Okay, so next in line, Mark has a question for him, so if you want to finish your question to him, and then Archie can take the floor after.
Yeah, okay.
You can't do that.
That was the point I'm trying to make, because in that health unit tax, they call, I've been getting a lot of complaints with the senior citizens. They have a millage, parish-wide, but they also need some help. They need help with light bills. And I said it a minute ago, once that FEMA money runs out, you're going to have a lot of people that need some help, and I'm going to support this. But my concern is if it's coming out of the health unit, I just want to make sure there's enough funding in there to take care of them senior citizens also. That's my only concern.
I don't know the answer to that, Councilman Lorraine. The administration could provide that, I'm sure.
You finished, Ms. Lorraine?
And that is about it for me, and
right.
I'm going to support it.
Here it is. All right, thank you, Ms. Lorraine. Mr. Perk.
Yes, I'd like to see us support this resolution. Anyone who, I am blessed just to participate in a small fashion with these young adults. And I'm going to tell you, I walk away gaining more than what I give. And it is just, So with that said, I'd just like to see us support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. I'd like the record reflect, Mr. Councilman Adams left the chambers at 18:19. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, yeah, Daniel, it is coming out of the parish-wide. It's coming out of the Health Activities Fund, not the Health Unit Fund, which is different. The Health Unit Fund specifically for the health unit buildings, the operation and maintenance of the actual health units. The Health Activities Fund is kind of the quasi, if you read the tax call in the budget binder, it talks about providing health activities. That's the tax call we cited when we asked the AG for the opinion about whether we could do this at all, because there were some questions about whether or not we could do it. So we did get an AG opinion toward the end of last year where then Attorney General Jeff Landry said we could do it. What you're referring to with the health units was the old Lafourche on the Move money. That was a pocket of money that was set aside from the tax reform stuff and the rededications that were done in 2007-ish when Ms. Randolph was here. So I do know Ms. Charlene has asked a few times, as well as some of the senior citizens, about how we replace that Lafourche on the Move money. I think it was $3,500 or $5,000 per senior citizen center or something like that. We have to put that money back in the budget. The original Lafourche on the Move money was put in place with that reform in 2007, and we've just finally depleted it. That's why we just kind of ran out of money. And when nobody really asked for it, we didn't really account for it. Well, then Ms. Charlene popped up. Some of the seniors have begun to ask for it. So we're going to do that. We're going to work on that over the course of the next couple of months. But it is a parish-wide millage that's paying, but that this is going to come out of.
Okay, so I just want to just to go back, right now we're talking about Lafourche ARC funding.
Yeah.
I know we're drifting around. You finished, Mr. President? Okay, Mr. Lorraine.
I just want to read the proposition that we just voted on parish-wide.
For Lafourche ARC?
No, 73% public health, including public health units, buildings, services and activities, and senior citizens programs and services, and public buildings other than library facilities, provided, however, at least 1/2 of said percentage shall be budgeted for public health purchases, and 27% for library. It's like a mixture of library and public health, but 73%. So just don't forget, that's a parish-wide collection.
Not the fund it's coming out of.
Okay, so once again, I want to bring this back into it. Right now, we're talking about Lafourche ARC funding, which is what the gentleman's over here talking about. Correct. Okay, I think, anyone else have any questions? Thank you, sir, much appreciated.
Chairman.
Okay, any discussion by the council? There being none, bring it to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 person that has left the chambers, that being Mr. Adams. Item 26, resolution approving a wetlands mitigation agreement between Delta Land Services LLC and the Lafourche Parish Government for the Choctaw Levee, and authorizing the parish president to sign execute and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Will someone sponsor this? Mr. Adams is supposed to be the sponsor in this. Mr. Roderick will sponsor this one. Administration second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 person that has left the chambers, being Mr. Adams. Item 27, resolution approving agreement between the parish of Lafourche and the Cutoff Youth Center to reimburse funds for operations, maintenance, and improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas. Motion passes with 7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention, that being Ms. Shessel, and 1 person that has left the chambers being Mr. Adams. Good, Ms. Carlin?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 28, resolution approving change order number 2 for the project titled Hurricane Ida Damage Roof Replacements to Matthews and Galliano Government Complexes, increasing the contract price by $50,568.84, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Can someone move for Mr. Perk will move by the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays. 1 person has since left the chambers, being Mr. Adams. Item 29, resolution approving a use of school facilities agreement between the Lafourche Parish Government and the Lafourche Parish School Board for the use of Galliano Elementary School for Lafourche Parish recreation summer programs, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and the all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? Ms. Shessel, you have the floor, ma'am.
So why are we entering this? I just got an email saying that they were all going to be at the Cutoff Youth Center. Is this necessary?
Can someone answer that? Okay, Ms. Lorraine, I'm going to cut you off. And Mr. Shessel, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what we're going to try to do Councilwoman Chesson, is leave the agreements in place. The reason you got that email is we're having a hard time finding summer workers to actually work the programs. I was going to mention that at the end. So if you know anybody who wants to be a summer worker for summer rec, so we're going to leave them in place in the hopes that we can find some summer workers, and then we can go back to the normal schedule. If we can't, we'll just come back at the end of the summer and just rescind the resolutions.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. President. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person who has since left, that being Mr. Adams. Item 30, resolution approving a use of school facilities agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche Parish School Board for the use of Golden Meadow Middle School for Lafourche Parish Recreation Summer Programs, and authorizing the parish president to sign and execute and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person has left, that being Mr. Adams. Item 31, resolution approving an agreement between the Parish of Lafourche and the Bayou Civic Club, the Rural Civic Center, to reimburse funds for operations, maintenance, and improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and the all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person has left, that being Mr. Adams. Item 32, resolution approving change order number 2 for project titled New Rodeo Arena and Miscellaneous Repairs to the Wasteland Act Facility, increasing the contract price by $25,558.87, and adding 28 additional days and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Abbey for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? That being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person has left, that being Mr. Adams. Item 33, resolution approving an agreement between the Division of Administration of the Lafourche Parish Government for the fiscal year 2022-2023 Local Government Assistance Program, LGAP, to renovate and repair Lafourche Parish Government buildings located in Thibodeau and Matthews, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any other relevant documents. Mr. Perk for administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person that is left, that has been Mr. Adams. Item 34, resolution approving change order number 3 for the project titled Leeville Public Boat Launch Reconstruction Hurricane Auto Repairs, increasing the contract price by $27,485.54, and adding 9 additional days, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and email 11 documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Abbey. No discussion. Okay, Ms. Lorraine.
I just want to see, let the public know if you want to go fishing, the lights are on, get on early one. We had a struggle to get the lights on, but Mitch came to light and we were able to get them turned on. And if you want to just get on early one and go all the way till you can't go no more and save yourself $21.90 instead of going to Lafourche.
And they can't cast net for shrimp though, right?
No, sir. You can cast it all you want. But not on the pier. It's not very polite if people are fishing and you throw a cast net on their side. That is very unprofessional. And I never did that in my life, so I'm just encouraging you not to do it.
Thank you, Mr.
Owner.
Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person that is left, that being Mr. Adams. Item 35, resolution approving a renewal purchase of the annual subscription for JAMF mobile device management in the amount of $32,042.21 through Insight Public Sector, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said renewal and any other relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine, your light's lit up. You might want to press your... All right, now we're good. There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person that is left, that being Mr. Adams. Item 36, resolution approving agreement with REV for hosted voice and data services for the Lafourche Parish Government, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all REV documents. Can someone sponsor that for Mr. Boo? Mr. Lorraine will sponsor that administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor, I'm sorry, Mr. Chesson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I know Mr. Eddie Colley from Rev is here. I just want to publicly say thank you. They've been a great partner, not only in the community, but for us, trying to renew the agreement with all the weird stuff we have going on between buildings. They've been great to work with post-storm. So Eddie, thank you for everything you guys do for us.
Very good, thank you, Mr. Chesson. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 person has left, that being Mr. Adams. Item 37, resolution approving amendment number 1 to task order number 1 between the Parish of Lafourche and APTIM Environmental and Infrastructure LLC for environmental management services, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Can someone move on behalf of Mr. Adams? Ms. Chesson will move for administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone against? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 person has left, that being Mr. Adams. Item M, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Manager reports, presentations, and or updates. Number 38, Department of Public Works Representative to present a report. Dylan, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with the April presentation. Starting at the Thibodeau Field Office is the west side outfall, swept the outfall. Abbey Ditch, repaired gate on the right-of-way. Callstone Drive, swept roadside ditches. Moving to the Choctaw Field Office, this is the Chack Bay Water Tower Pump Station, installed a new walkway. This was a safety issue. We had a walkway that was ending on the edge of a state highway, and pumpers were having to park on the edge of the state highway. Rumpelbaugh South Levee, clean borrow canal. Bayou Blue Field Office, this is Burma Road, installed driveway culvert. Also on Burma Road, replace the collapsed driveway culvert. Paradise Cove subdivision, put limestone along the shoulder. Not sure what happened here. Barber Place, swept roadside ditches. Dom, are you seeing this issue on your end? I apologize, y'all. I'll send these later. Moving to race, I will at least announce what happened at each one. Barber Place, swept roadside ditches. Richard Place, swept roadside ditches. Myrtle Place, we also swept roadside ditches. Moving to Raceland Field Offices, Triple Oaks Drive, swept roadside ditches. Bypass Road, swept roadside ditches. Highway 653, we swept the roadside ditch to Rose Street. This is, again, extended on the last meeting. This is one of those state right-of-ways that drains a subdivision. Landmark Outfall, swept the outfall. St. Anne Street, swept roadside ditches. Saco Drive, swept roadside ditches. District 2 of 12 pump station, clean reservoir. The Lockwood Field Office is Cypress Villa Lane, swept roadside ditches. Adam Street, clean culverts. This is Cypress Street and 40 Arpent Road, inspected a cross culvert. If you see on the left, you can see one of these concrete joints of the culvert is separated. You can actually see daylight coming through. And on the right side is a zoomed in picture of that separated joint. And then this is the repair. And the pump station outfall, remove vegetation from the outfall. Moving to the Galliana Field Office, this is Delta Farms Road, replace collapsed driveway culvert. East 153rd Street, repaired culvert. East 14th Place, remove mattress from a roadside ditch. While this isn't a large project that we do, I do want to share it because these are some of the things we run across when you call and have drainage issues in your area.
As far as work completed by the maintenance contractor, this is the Zalman's pump station. The maintenance contractor has a special piece of equipment that helps us where we do not have a right-of-way to remove vegetation from the reservoir. This project is not 100% complete, but we did make a pretty big dent in it. We plan to have them back out in the next week or two to finish this project. This was really just a test run, and it worked very good. We did it at 2 pump stations, found it to be very beneficial at the Zalman's pump station. Some more maintenance contractor work. This is Ainsley Drive, repaired curb. Mateo Drive, repaired curb. As far as the work completed in the office, there was 1 permanent servitude acquired, 2 major subdivisions inspected, and 1 major subdivision review. 3 property subdivision reviews. As far as permits, there were 23 culvert permits and 3 fence permits issued. 388 work requests were received, 63 permits were reviewed for compliance, and 3 jobs were completed by the maintenance contractor. 1 right-of-way was also de-dedicated, which was at the last council meeting. As far as engineering projects, there are currently 24 projects in design phase, 7 projects under construction, 2 projects out for bid. 1 of those is rebid, and no projects were recently completed, but we're hoping to get some more completed. Also, before we go into questions, Mr. Chairman, if I could, a few of the residents that spoke, I have a few updates on some of those things. Mr. Preston Roddy, if he's still here, we did speak. I first spoke to him yesterday. I reached out to him again today. We weren't able to connect. The issue we have there is there's no right-of-way between the back of the residents on both sides. LVG is happy to construct a ditch if we get a right-of-way, but it's one of those scenarios where there's fences, hedges, sheds. If everybody would agree to it and move their property, we're certainly happy to do it. If not, it would take a major project on roadside drainage to improve it. So I'm going to continue coordinating with Mr. Roddy. We spoke yesterday. I'm going to touch base with him again tomorrow, and we'll continue that process. As far as West Community, met with Mr. Larry really quickly, gave him my phone number. We're going to continue on that. I do want to just talk about one thing. The pumper over there is a field office supervisor, and he does a fantastic job. He not only checks that pump, but he checks all of the pumps in his district, and I can't say enough good things about him. All of our pumpers do a great job, and this one does as well. So I just wanted to correct that and say he does a fantastic job. We just did have a lot of rain on that January 24th event. Also, I want to talk about the no-wake zone signs. We did order those signs. Those signs are in hand. I am unsure as to what exactly the verbiage says, but we did order a sign based on the previous ordinance that's on the book. So just to be clear on that, they are ready to be installed. We are just waiting on the permit. As soon as the permit comes in, we're going to contact Lafourche Freshwater District, and they're going to install it for us. And then lastly, in Mr. Araby's district, the lady, I didn't catch her name, I apologize, that was talking about that pile. We did start a case on it. We are having problems identifying the landowner. So as soon as the landowner is identified, we'll have a formal case on the property. We'll push them to try to clean it themselves. If they don't clean themselves, then we will in fact have to do it through a nuisance abatement property, and there'll be a lien assessed to the property. So just to clarify what's going on with that, solid waste is in the works, and if we did identify an owner, we would be a little bit further along, but we started that process when the gentleman came to the council meeting. We just are having a lot of trouble finding a landowner there. And that's all the updates I have. With that, I'll entertain any questions.
All right. Brings us to item in, questions for the administration. Bo has his light on first, so Bo, let's see, I need Dylan. Okay, Bo, you got the mic, sir.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. It was very informative. 3 quick questions and it's real quick answers. The 308 boat launch, I was getting a bunch of calls, and I forgot who I spoke with. Might have been some administration, might have been some of the people building it, but I was like, when is it going to open? This is back in March, and beginning of March. I was told it'd probably open by April, but nowhere on that. Keep asking all your questions, Bo.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, number 2, Bayou Vista Pump Station. I know we had some things tonight. I just was wondering if there's any updates on that. And Dylan, did we go and clean Constal today, Constal behind the lady's house? Are we working on that? Maybe we went and meet.
Update on Constant. So you asking for a Constant update?
It's Constal.
All right, so there's 3 there. So Terry has since pressed his button for questions for the administration. So unfortunately, I was just the way his word. Terry, do you have questions for the administration?
Yeah, just for Mitch. Mitch, I spoke earlier during the week about Recreation District 2, and I think you said they have a reconstruction meeting this week?
Question on reconstruction meeting. Okay. You got anything else?
It's I just want to let the public know that the process is in the works to try to get the recreation field and everything in Raceland back up to order. So, we're having a pre-construction meeting this Thursday, I think it is. Thank you.
All right, Dylan?
Thank you, sir. Bo, as far as the boat launch, I'm unaware I can get with recreation. Archie's gonna get that, okay. Bayou Vista, we got the update on modeling this morning. They sent us a required right-of-way, so the next is to go acquire right-of-way from the landowner. So as soon as we get that right, we know what we need now as far as the actual width. Now that we know that, we have something valid that we can go to the landowners with. Once we go to the landowners, we'll draw up a right-of-way plat, get it approved, and then finalize the process of design. And the last one you had asked about was Coastal. Coastal, we did not secure a right-of-way on the north side. We did secure a hold harmless. So they are gonna let us dig it. So we're planning that work. Yes, we are planning that work, and then we're also planning to do some work on the south side where the resident has agreed to give us a permanent right-of-way. We did have a small permanent right-of-way. We're getting a little bit larger permanent right-of-way to work with the existing ditch. We're going to try to do both of them while we're on site. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dylan. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilman Melvin, the boat launch is scheduled for a ribbon cutting on the 24th of April, this month. So once the freshwater district finalizes everything, they were going to send out everything to everybody, invite everyone, but it'll be open right after that. I did talk to, kind of piggybacking on Dylan, I did talk to Stevie today. He had the right-of-way data, like Dylan said. He was planning to start to meet with the two landowners on either side in the next 2 weeks, so I'm hopeful that moves semi-soon. And Councilman Araby, Mitch did say it is Thursday at 9 a.m., so your pre-construction meeting is going to happen this week. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Lorraine.
Trying to figure out where I'm gonna start. First of all, I wanna confess. I knew I'd get their attention. At the last meeting, I said that we had a pump for Serenity. It was an engine that we had, not a pump. But let me say this, about 5 or 6 years ago, when Amanda Wazan was here at Coastal Zone, myself and her and 2 other people met with Ducks Unlimited, doing some terrace, like some little levees, I guess, to protect the big levee. Just remember, that project is getting ready to start in July. It's called the Terrebonne Basin, but it's going to come toward the south. But I'm still going to beg you and ask you to see if you could put back the Serenity pump and the Mobley. Mobley has a trail and a pump pumping it out right now, but they don't connect to Serenity. It's 2 different sections. My concern is, and I think the people of South Lafourche should be concerned, you got 33 miles of levee in South Lafourche, and no matter where it breaks, if it breaks, hope it'll never break, but it can break because it's not, nothing says nothing can break. It can break in the roads, it can break in cutoff, but the most logical place for it to break is by the floodgates, by the locks on the south side. So if I could get that Mobley pump put back and put back Serenity, we can protect that levee with that property. Look, Ducks Unlimited is coming to protect us, and the parish itself is just going to let it go. So I'm asking you to consider putting those 2 pumps back, if it's not too much. Look how many pumps we voted on to fix tonight. We got an engine, and we may have the pump, because I did a little talking, and I talked to a couple of guys that was retired, and they could remember right after the hurricane, they went over there and they took that pump out, and they took that Mobley pump out, and it's probably at the landfill on Highway 90. I found that out by accident, but it was somebody that's retired, and they remember taking the engine out and bringing it over there. So I just found it for them So go to the landfill, get the pump, and go put it back, and take that brand-new engine we have at the barn and hook it up. And I'll be satisfied. And the people of South Lafourche are going to be satisfied, because I'm telling you, that levee broke for Hurricane Juan in 1985 in Cutoff. And it took 3 days to get to Golden Meadow, but the whole area flooded because it's a bowl. And where these, and I feel for these people that are living there on 7. You got to remember, the police jury built that levee. In 1984, when I got elected, in 85, when Juan hit, Bobby Tardo was the parish president, and I asked him to cap those levees, and we did. We capped all of Mobilino, and Terry Abbey worked for the parish when Katrina hit. They did a lot of work over there. He helped. We put a lot of riprap, so don't say that we didn't do nothing. But the key issue is the police jury built the levee. It's not a hurricane protection levee. It's just a tidal flow. But the point that I'm really interested in is protecting the South Lafourche levee. So here we got Ducks Unlimited coming, and we're not going to protect our own. I'm asking you to reconsider doing that, and I would appreciate it. And if you do that, you're going to make me happy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lorraine. Mr. President.
I think pigs would fly and you wouldn't be happy, Councilman Lorraine. But I'm standing strong on this, and we are not going to replace the pumps. You have one structure that shouldn't be there, that the guy who lives there is unfortunately incarcerated. You got a guy who's illegally living in an RV camper that shouldn't be there. And then you have one resident who's living in a FEMA trailer who I think is trying to repair her house. So there is no way that the benefit cost analysis works out to spend upwards of $8 million for a person. I have said it before, and I will say it again. If you wanted to protect the levee, and if the Lumobile and Sarin levee blows out and it blows down an 18-foot levee that's been compacted longer than I've been alive, then we have bigger problems to worry about. That is not going to be an issue. If we really wanted to protect the people, and I've told you this before, if you want to help, we will make the offer again to each one of those landowners to buy them out. And we will fill that area in with dredge material from Lafourche, make a nice little green area that'll help the environment, help protect the levee system. There is no way to put a pump station back down there for a person. It does not make sense. We would not do that in any other district, and we're not going to do it there. I feel bad for them. I feel horrible. I love the family who's still there. I raised their house in 2009 after Hurricane Gustav, right? I've watched a woman cry when her house flooded for Hurricane Ida. I get it. My heart breaks. But it's just not a good business decision. And you can't tell me that the other 8 people up here would want to spend $8 million on a person. It just doesn't work out. So I'm not going to make you happy. I'm sorry.
Well, let me tell you this.
Thank you, Mr. Chesso.
Let me respond.
Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah, first of all, the 2 houses when you were working for PCULA were paid for by FEMA to elevate them. One, after Ida hit, they couldn't find it. The foundation was still there, the bricks. Now the other one, half the house took off. You only got a half house. I'm concerned with them people, Mr. Chasson, but what really concerns me is all the people of South Lafourche that thing protects that levee. When are you going to put that in your head? When that levee was built, the police, you weren't even born yet. A lot of money was, the police jury built the dog. Now let me say this, if it would be only one landowner, you could probably do. But you got all kind of landowners. So think about the levee of South Lafourche. And I don't guess that bothers you. That's what you need to think about, protecting the levee of South Lafourche. 33 miles of levee, because if it breaks, no matter where it breaks, we're done. And it's more vulnerable to break at the floodgates than anywhere else. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of all the residents that live in South Lafourche. Okay? And I feel for them people that are in where it floods. I feel. But I'm not going to crucify them. I want to protect everybody in South Lafourche. You're doing it in North Lafourche. Why can't you do it in South?
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not an engineer, I don't claim to be, and I did not stay at the Holiday Inn Express last night, but Ms. Lorraine, you really need to explain to me, and we could do this off camera, I'm not gonna debate this anymore, how less than a square mile of property is gonna damage a 40-mile ring levee system with 800 square miles of water around it. It doesn't make sense. You can't tell me that just because those two pumps aren't there, that the entire South Lafourche levee system is gonna collapse, right? This is not another North Lafourche versus South Lafourche thing. We didn't take anything over in North Lafourche tonight that we didn't already have, right? This is about, and I get it, there's 3 people that are still there, right? There were 14 structures before Hurricane Ida, right? There's 1 left. T. Raymond is the only structure that's left, and half of Miss Eileen's house, right? And T. Raymond's in a camper that he shouldn't live in anyway. It's illegal, right? So if we're gonna push the issue, we'll just go tow his camper out because he's not supposed to live in it anyway, right? And then we down to half a house, right? I get where you're coming from. Again, my heart breaks, but I don't want anybody watching this meeting to think that the entire South Lafourche levee district system is in jeopardy because these 2 little pump stations are missing. The math just doesn't compute. It doesn't work out, right? So I appreciate what you're trying to do and you're trying to scare everybody, but it doesn't work out. The little bit of water that's gonna accumulate and has accumulated there, even during a hurricane, right? If that was the case, when the pump stations blew away for Hurricane Ida, the levee would have broke in, and it didn't. So you can't tell me that now the levee is going to collapse at the floodgate because these little pump stations aren't there. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chesso. Okay, hold on 1 second. Still the questions for the administration, Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say, Archie, is that I don't think you get it. I'm trying to protect the levee with the property you have. Ducks Unlimited is coming to protect you. What, you don't get it? You don't see it? I'm trying to protect 33 miles of levee because anywhere as it breaks, you flood. You like Leeville, and you know that better than me. When that levee was built, you wasn't even born. And I will take it to the South Lafourche levee district.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Melvin, question for the administration? You had a question for the administration?
No.
Okay. All right, so no further questions for the administration. Brings us to discussion. Item O. Anyone have any discussion? Mr. President, press your button and you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things because it was brought up a couple of times tonight. The copper roof on the courthouse was there before. It's a 300-year-old historic structure. We had to go back with materials that were on there. That's why the copper roof is there. It's going to look shiny like a penny for a few months until it patinas, but that's the reason. I don't want anybody to think we were just wasting money putting copper on a building. As I mentioned before, if anybody in South Lafourche is looking for a summer job, we are looking for summer rec workers. Not only so we can expand the programs down there, we want to have more than just, at the Call of Youth Center, but if you're looking for some summer employment, we need that. There has been some back and forth. I'm sure you've seen the articles about the judge's ruling on the NFIP lawsuit. I'm not really going to get into that in an open meeting, but we're going to schedule an update for you guys on that probably for the next council meeting. But we did get some feedback from the group in Denton about the flood maps. As you guys know, we're still appealing the flood insurance rate maps to firm maps. We're hopeful that we get another working set of maps from them in the next couple of weeks. That's going to give us another 30-day comment period. So hopefully, since we kind of lost a little bit of the lawsuit, the maps will come through and we can hopefully make some strides there. And in case you hadn't been paying attention, the session continues in Baton Rouge. We are fighting a couple of local bills. They're going to have some adverse impacts to not only Lafourche, but a lot of the coastal parishes especially. We do have a couple of things in HB2 for capital outlay that we're continuing to work on. And going to work on a couple of additional funding items through CPRA with Chairman Dove now and Representative Fontenot and Representative Bergeron. So stay tuned as that continues. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chesso. And now, Ms. Chesso.
So if someone wants to apply for a job with recreation, what do they do?
There we go. So all they have to do is call. They can either reach out to Jennifer in Recreation or call the HR department with Miss Anderson, or reach out to one of the ladies in HR and we'll get them set up. the high schools have the application, they make the announcement every morning. Patton and Desi have been pushing it pretty hard, so they can either reach out to the school if they're at at South Lafourche, or the parent can pick up the phone and call us.
Okay, I know someone else had the right press, and I might have jumped them. Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah, I want to thank the people that came out Saturday to the gold medal blessing of the boat. 108 years. That's the oldest one in the United States. 108 years. And also I want to thank the people that came out Sunday. They gave me a pass to go ride in the Raceland Fireman's Parade. So I was able to do that, along with Bo was there, Noni and Terry. And I tell you what, it was real good. It finished up at the Ag Center and recognized quite a few people there. They said, look out, Lorraine's coming.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. And I'll end it with La Fête du Mont at the corner of Highway 1 and Highway 90, April 19th, 20th, 21st. Local festival featuring good music, good Cajun food here in the bayou, and it benefits several nonprofits in this area. Please come out and visit, April 19th, 20th, 21st. With that said, we'll move to item P, adjournment, on a motion by Mr. Pert, second by Mr. Abbey. We move further business. The Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of April 9, 2024 will be adjourned at 18:56 hours. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person that has left, that being Mr. Adams. Thank you.